If you're like me, when a favorite book or show ends, you feel a sense of loss. I mean, sometimes I want to go into full-on mourning. This is because story engages our hearts and our minds and our imaginations. It transports us, and a well-told story leaves us wanting more. Because of this, story is an amazing tool for engaging your audience. The question is, where do you find the stories that they want to hear? Hi, I'm Mindy Cook, this is Content Curb Appeal, and I've been telling stories through video and design for more than a decade. And today I'm going to share a few of my favorite story finding secrets with you. Tip number 1, tell stories about the people you serve. If you're a business, these are your customers. If you're a nonprofit, these can be either your constituents or your supporters. We love to hear stories about real people. We connect with the similarities we find with our own stories, and we're intrigued by the differences. Tip number 2, ask your people for their stories. If you have staff on the front lines, ask them who they know who has a compelling story. If you take in applications or surveys, include an optional story section. You can also ask for stories via social media. I was talking to someone the other day who does marketing for a restaurant chain, and she told me she put out an ask on social media for stories about their very popular soup. And she was amazed at both the number of responses they received and the emotional depth of the stories that came in. Tip number 3, keep a story file. If you start doing the things from tip number 2 regularly, you'll probably end up with more stories than you can use right away. So I recommend keeping a document or a folder with these story ideas so that they'll be there when you need them. Tip number 4, uphold the dignity of the people whose stories you're telling. Stories run deep with the people who hold them, so make sure that both your story finding and your storytelling are done in such a way that both acknowledge the power of the story being told and uphold the dignity of the people whose story it is. When you hold this safe space for both the stories you're telling now and the ones you want to tell in the future, I think you'll be surprised how people recognize that safety and want to share their stories with you. And there you have it, 4 secrets for story finding success. What'd you think? Leave me a comment below with your thoughts or questions about finding or telling stories. I'd love to hear from you, and I'll see you next time.